You are what you eat is a common phrase. It usually refers to the quality of food you eat resulting in your overall health. In this presentation, we will go far deeper than that. We will see how human creativity utilized the plants around it to create culture. We have designed cultures around plants. We grow alongside the first people who were here long before us. This presentation looks at the relationship humanity has with three powerful sisters, Camas, Yams, and corn. I have selected this topic because I feel comparing and contrasting cultures and their relationships with plants brings us together. By plugging into the ethnosphere, researching the use of plants, and our relationship as a species with them, we can keep the ethnosphere vibrant and healthy. In this presentation, we will view many plant profiles, a short history of each plant, and how it is still being utilized today to fuel art, commerce, and tradition. The folk tales will start with traditional openings from the culture in which the plant people originated. While researching heritage, I see how valuable learning my heritage tales would have been for me as a child. The plant people's stories are presented in this context. This presentation is in direct harmony with the Sayuyai Sister Garden in service to Siguyal House of Welcome Longhouse because it provides the roadmap to explore connections and was the inspiration for its creation. By utilizing the structure provided to explore Coast Salish cultures, this presentation explores the cultures that have grown out of native plants in Africa and South America as well. We will learn about these plants from this quarter's text, past presentations, and additional readings. Camas. According to TlailabLashitsi.com, the correct way to pronounce Camas is,
Abid,
once again,
Abid,
Camas is no longer considered part of the lily family. It is now part of the asparagus family. There are cautions with this plant. According to Douglas Dewar, author of Gifted Earth, the ethnobotany of the Quinault and neighboring tribes, harvesters need to be cautious of harvesting dead camas, which has creamy white flowers, and their bulbs can grow in the middle of a patch of edible camas. Indigenous stewardship of prairies is essential to ensure they remain rooted out of patches and that plants are properly identified. The story of Camas. The people many years ago before this world was changed were not as people are now. In some ways, they were smarter than we are. In that time, the world was very cold and lodgepole pine ruled the area. Giant glaciers like the Puget Lobe decided to go on the move and dragged along with it rocky soil. Cameron said, "Oh boy, I like it here." In the Salish prairies, the soil is very well drained and rocky. The people of the Salish liked Camas very much. Using imagination and intelligence, they learned if it is roasted, it is tasty and potent source of energy. It is a traditional food source of the Coast Salish people and traded from Canada to California. According to Douglas Dewar, it was traditionally given at weddings. Patches of camas were members of particular families and still are. People go to them year after year to tend them and harvest. But other plant people like the Salish prairies too. Douglas fir was like, "What? It's super awesome here." And camas could have been evicted from its home. Using fire technology to burn the prairies, it keeps the interlopers out. Sadly, colonial settlers came and said, "Dude, what are you doing? Fire is bad," and many prairies were lost to the woods. But now, just like then, indigenous stewardship is making sure Camas still has a home. The high maintenance Camas said, "Thank you so much. Had it not been for your stewardship and care, I may have been a goner." In the next slide, we will see how the culture of Camas is not something just in the past, it is now. Here we see beautiful expressions of Camas in art. Yams. I modified a fire cider recipe by Michelle Lee, the author of Working the Roots Over 400 Years of African American Healing. I included yams and I took out horseradish. The story of yams. In 985 BC, the Niger River basin was wet and fertile. Far away, Africans found yams living in the forest and said, You know what? We really like you. Let's take you home and help you grow close to us. And so Yams moved from the forest. When the climate changed and the weather became hot and the land dry, the people planted yams next to the river Nile. They became best friends, and through stewarding the yams, African people helped yams have more fuel, grow bigger size, and be able to grow in full sun. Yams learned to love the hot African sun. The Africans learned to burn the land to make a nice home for yams and keep them safe. This worked so well, yams can weigh over a quarter of a ton and be 6 feet long. Yams are so loved, festivals are made dedicating them to the first yams eaten of the year. Even the African gods love yam. Oxala loves them pounded. There is a sad part of the story. The African people were taken from their land as captives and sent around the world. They smuggled precious things like yams with them. The beauty of the tale is that yams are now celebrated all over the world. Right now, indigenous Africans and friends are making yams happy and healthy, while yams make them happy and healthy. Here are some beautiful expressions of yams in art. If you're squeamish, take a break. Also, a spoiler alert. The next clip is bloody but powerful in how it shows yams as a current force for creativity with an ancient past. It delves into societal fears like magic, power being considered solely a masculine trait, and nature demanding retribution for wrongs. Spoiler: the guy yelling at his girlfriend is eventually driven insane by a yam possessed by a drug dealer. Also, the drug dealer was going to rob the affluent couple who scoffed at the power of yams. Little did they know, ancient nature magic saved their lives. The tradition of yam love is strong. Fidela Kuka, a resident of Ghana hosting the annual Yam Festival shown here, stated, "This is our history, our culture, and what brings us together as one people." Corn. Corn is not just nutritious, the silk of corn is also medicinal. Here you will find a recipe for corn silk tea. In the Sayuyai Sister Garden, in service to Siguyat House of Welcome, in the south bed, you will find an area for corn. By the will of the heart of the heavens, the story of corn. In the beginning, corn was different than we know it. 9,000 years ago, it was named Teosinte. In the river valley of south central Mexico, the people said, you are not tasty at all. You grow only one ear, and your little ear is only about 1 inch tall. But, friend, I see potential. So, the indigenous Mesoamericans grew it over and over using intellect and creativity. Teosinte became maize and was full of energy and nutrition. There are many kinds of it. Now, it can have up to 600 kernels on one ear and can be 43 feet tall. Corn took a long walk all over the subarctic of North America to the tip of South America. At first, the colonial settlers thought it was weird to eat, but eventually they ate it and did not think of it as a friend, but as a way to make money. James Reed grew a kind of corn that could be grown to make the most money, yellow dent number 2. In the 1893 World's Fair, he won a blue ribbon. Soon everyone loved corn in America and they made a lot of money, but it was not all good. Looking at corn as a cash crop. Taken out of the context of being a gift from the earth and a family member, it was solely looked at as a cash crop. One variety was established to homogenize the shipping and selling of corn. With the technological advances coming out of World War II, the growing and harvesting of corn took off, as did the use of synthetic fertilizers. But there is hope. A new tradition is being created with corn, one with positive results for the environment. According to One Piece a Day, an agency devoted to cleaning the world of plastic by challenging each person to pick up one piece a day, download the app. Corn is the answer to our global plastic problem. In this picture, we can see the piece of bioplastic breaking down in 45 to 90 days. Now we see corn celebrated in art. Cultural ecology is not static. It is how plants impact us and how we impact the environment we call home. It is not something that only happened a long time ago and will only affect many generations to come. It is now. It is organic and thriving, undulating with the creativity and ingenuity of mankind. My connections became tangible, and that is the most meaningful thing that I have gained during this exploration. Thank you for listening.